Good morning, Fin fans. Yes, good morning. This is a brand new show here at the Fin's Tailgate. This is Top of the Tailgate. So, top of the tailgate to you, and good morning. It's 6:03 a.m. and it's currently 79 degrees here in Miami, and with a high of 84. It looks like. Yes, high of 84, low of 75. Currently, there's about 83% humidity, 2 miles per hour in the wind. So, looks like it's going to be a partly cloudy with a high chance of showers, maybe thunderstorms in the evening. So, that's the current weather report. How's everybody doing? Yeah, it's been a while to have a show with myself. And if you don't know me, I'm Ali the Persian. Welcome to the Finn's Tailgate, and this is Top of the Tailgate every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning. Brand new morning show. So, got some people in the back. We're bringing them up shortly. But meanwhile, while you're hanging out, as you saw a few moments ago, check out the rundown. Let's talk about the rundown. So, if you're waiting for looking for content, check out all the different shows we have. We have El Capitan, Color, who's here. We got Cup of Coffee with Color. Color going nighttime. Thursdays, he goes all the time, so check out Color. You can find myself Monday through Friday with our morning show. Going forward, you can also find my Broken Take episodes that I try to put out weekly. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but that's okay. And starting the beginning of the preseason and throughout the season, you can find me Saturday nights with Late Night Exhale. And also, you can check out some of DTA's content. He's been on furlough, but whenever he gets back, we can't wait. We got Lewis, Rabid Dolphin. Check out Lewis and Rabid Dolphin episodes. You can find him here. You can find him in the Twitter Spaces. Check him out. And also, you can check out Shake Money. Shake Money's been running things around here, man. He's been all over the place, covering for me on Saturdays. Feels like every other day is Shake Money Day with his drive time and late night shows. Definitely check out Shake Money. While we're also waiting, check out in the description. There are quite a few things you can check out. And also, if you're in the chat, let me know if you can hear me okay. Want to make sure everything is good. But yeah, check out the description below. There's a couple different links you can check out. And let's shout out to our affiliates.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything.
Shout out to Fanatics. Fanatics, you can get your officially licensed everything. Definitely check them out. They have everything from NFL Miami Dolphins gear, baseball, basketball, any sport you can think of. They have memorabilia, signed memorabilia. They have tons and tons of stuff. You can get stuff for your tailgating, all that kind of stuff. So check out Fanatics. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure you use the link below. Helps out the channel. We really appreciate it. Also, along with Fanatics, you can check out some of our other affiliates, such as Doobie Energy Drink. Doobie Energy Drink, they have some really cool supplement products, that help with energy, help with focus. Their stuff claims to have vitamins and minerals that effectively, positively affect the brain, in the sense that benefits them. Helps with focus and not with any of that, unhealthy sugars and different stuff that they have, flowing in the background. Supposedly their stuff is a lot more healthier for you. You don't get the jitters and shakes that you normally do. That's something I've heard about their stuff. Check out Shake Money's show. He actually has a video, of him trying it out. He says it's some pretty good stuff, so definitely check that out. You can also save 10% off your order. Just use code TFTG at checkout. With that also being said, check out Backroom Collection. Backroom Collection gets some awesome artwork, canvas work that you can put on your wall, put it in your office, your man cave, your bedroom. They got all different stuff, all different sports. They even do custom work. Also, check out some of their accessories that they have for those little mini helmets that everybody collects. So check out Backroom Collection. With that being said, shout out to all of our affiliates. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything that you guys do. you would like to help out the channel and get some cool gear and check out some cool stuff, check out our affiliates. You can see their links below. We also have a merch store down there. You can get certain t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, hats, all that kind of stuff. We are doing some different modifications right now, so that link should be up and going soon. We'll start advertising for that more as it comes up. But while I have you, let's give out a round of applause for the man, the myth, the legend. Color, what's up, Color?
What's up, guys? What's up, Ali?
Not much, man.
Good
It's our
freaking morning,
show,
man. Oh,
episode 1 of
whopping
the
6
morning show.
people
We finally
wake
did
up
it.
this early, huh?
Yeah, we finally did it. It's the episode 1 of the morning show. We've been talking about it for months, and we finally got it to go through. We're good to go. This is the inaugural show. Round of
Except
applause.
for New Finland. He's over in that one time zone just east of us that nobody was aware of. That's actually an hour ahead of us.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. They are definitely
Aqua, Shake Money. How's it going, Aqua? Shake Money.
Wow, Shake Money's up in here. Hell yeah.
Sun's probably already up and cooking in Zamunda.
Yeah, you got California, Flava, J,
New Finland.
Vision. Yeah, this is the show for you if you're an early worm or early bird, as they say. If you're a truck driver early on the road, making deliveries, working for the U.S. Postal Service or working for some distribution center or whatever, where you have to be up super in the morning and you want to listen to some content, this is the show. Or if you're a guy like myself who normally wakes up about 9 a.m. in the morning, strolling myself right into work and needs something to wake me up, this might be a show to catch up on what you missed. So definitely shout out to everybody in the chat. I really appreciate it.
All in the local area, we'll definitely get you some weather and possibly some traffic updates if we can find the right app, let y'all know where not to go.
Definitely. So hit the like button.
Traffic report for this morning in Greater Miami. Bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever way you were gonna go the other way.
Yeah. So color, as they've seen on the title, this is Top of the Tailgate with coffee. I know you're a coffee person. I am. What's your coffee of the week?
Right now, I'm back on McCafe. They were nobody was on sale, so I went with my number one McDonald's McCafe in the Keurig cup.
Yeah. So every week, we'll talk about it every day, but every week we're gonna shout out to our coffee flavor of the week. My flavor is actually a blonde roast. It's called Blonde Roast by Burismo. And Burismo, if you don't know, is a German brand that's primarily sold at Aldi's. However, you can get it on Amazon as well as Walmart.com. They have a simple goal to deliver great tasting coffee at an affordable price you love, whether your preference is dark or light or some type of flavored coffee. That's what they're all about. Let it be coffee pods or whole beans. They sell it in both ways. They got you covered with Burismo coffee products. Now, one thing you may not have known about Burismo coffee, they work with farmers to promote sustainable practices. Their fair trade coffee, it says it's fair trade certified, has a fair trade certified seal, meaning their products is independently certified to ensure producers receive a fair price to their products. So basically what they're saying is that their products, when they pay for them, they're paying the fair amount to all of their farmers and everybody that help produce that product. So shout out to Burismo.
Almost like sort of like a co-op.
Kind of, yeah. That's what
at least at the money on the money side of it.
What I can tell you, I like their coffee. It's not like my top favorite, but it's definitely worth the flavor. They use 100% Arabica beans. And
it's an Eastern bean.
Say that again.
An Eastern bean.
Yeah, an Eastern bean. You know more about the beans than I do.
Well, it's East and West, just because of the soil content in the West.
Yeah. What I can tell you, it has like a smooth flavor. Blonde. It's kind of hard to go wrong, to be honest, with a blonde roast. But in my opinion, you don't get that nutty, bitter taste. That's my opinion. And how I like my coffee, if anybody's interested, I usually, I do add no sugar. I do add about 2 tablespoons of creamer, either an almond milk type of creamer, or a hazelnut flavor is what I use.
Very precise, Ollie.
Yeah.
I usually add a splash of creamer and a splash of Snickers coffee creamer and
Oh, Snickers by what is
2
that?
spoons of
Italian Delight,
sugar.
not Italian Delight, International Delight. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's who makes it.
I sometimes, if
It
I
kind
want,
of adds a little bit of a nut flavor to it, but not the
yeah,
bitterness.
I'm kind of iffy on creamers. Like I've had some really good ones, and then I've had some really bad ones.
That's the only one I do. I kind of landed on that, and I just give it a little slight splash. I don't overpower it.
Yeah,
I still let
I've
the
landed
sugar do the
on,
work.
yeah, landed on just like a regular creamer with hazelnut flavor, or if it's not hazelnut, it's the almond creamer. Preferably the sweet cream almond is the one I like primarily.
I can't do the hazelnut, man. It's
Too
so
nutty for you, I got
pungent. It's like I'll smell it for a week if I even put it anywhere near me.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't like like some of the nuttier flavored coffees, because I already have like a hazelnut creamer going in it, and I don't like too much, that bitter nut taste, if you want to.
Right. And vanilla's like that too. Vanilla, I'll smell it for 2 weeks, man. It's just way too much.
Yeah,
especially the ones that are like flavored coffee, like when you brew it and it's vanilla in the brew. You know what I mean? God, that stuff is just so powerful, man.
Oh yeah,
might as well just brew vanilla beans.
Oh yeah. So essentially, what my goal is every week is to have a new flavor and shout out to that flavor. So, and maybe teach some people a little bit about morning coffee while we're going about.
It's just not your regular barista. It's a barismo.
That's what it's called. It's a German brand. If you don't know, Aldi's primarily carries all German brand products for the most. It's a German company, of course.
And we see your coffee cup?
Oh, my coffee cup, I'm using just a standard coffee cup. It says Providence on one side. There says Les Olives.
It's like bigger than your desk, man.
It looks
bigger.
A huge mug. A little bit. No, that's basically. Yeah.
Hey, I dare you to set it on the desk.
I wish I could.
No, but I there was a method to my madness for bringing up the coffee cup. Shake money.
Oh, nice. Oh, look at that. I see it. I see it. I see it.
Get a good look, Shake.
I have a coffee cup coming, but I kind of wanted to wait until certain announcements are made before I present that one. So we'll definitely have that in the bag soon. With that being said, so yeah, like I was saying, Aldi's is a German company. They have German brands. Check them out. They have some good coffee flavors and other. If you're into like organic or what's the word I'm looking for? Like gluten-free stuff, or like that stuff like that you may need in your diet. Aldi's is a place to check out. They have a lot of that kind of stuff there, so definitely check them out. But you can also find this brand, like I said, on Amazon, and or Walmart.com. You can get it there too.
I think I may have seen them in Publix too. I'm not sure.
Barismo
could have been Cafe Bustelo or something.
One thing about Publix is if you know that they don't have something, they will try. You can ask them to see if they can order it for you.
Yeah,
they will get it for you. So definitely check them out. I have another coffee flavor that Color knows about that I really like. That is primarily my favorite. Unfortunately, it's been out of stock. I got to get on Publix and tell them that they need to hurry up and get that flavor back in stock for me.
They need to get them prices back down too, man.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. I
shouldn't be able to get my coffee cheaper at my brand name coffee cheaper at Dollar General than Publix. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
The world ain't right when it's like that.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. So, Color, it was Memorial Day weekend.
Oh yeah, keep going there. I'm sorry, I'm a little behind.
So we had Memorial Day weekend. So shout out to all of our service members, veterans, anybody that has been part of the military, or have family in the military or anything. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all the people that have lost their lives for our freedom, and I really appreciate them. This was really a show that was supposed to go on in conjunction with Memorial Day, but it didn't turn out that way because of technical issues yesterday. But I wanted to make sure I give them a shout out. As some of you may known that have known me, I'm a veteran myself, and I'm a, what is it, third generation? Yeah, third generation veteran. In my family, we've all have been part of the armed forces in some fashion or not. And I just wanted to make sure, that we give remembrance to those who have lost their lives for our country, and or not just for our country, but for everyone, in any format. So appreciate to them. With that also being said, Memorial Day, surprisingly, has been one of the most historical days in sports history. I don't know if you know this. So if you go back and look in history, some of the most amazing things happened on Memorial Day. To give you an example, 16-year-old Venus Williams made her Grand Slam debut with a win over Japan's Nakoa Sawamatsu at the first day of the French Open. That was on Memorial Day. That also being said, dubbed the Memorial Day Miracle, Sean Elliott's game-winning three-pointer in the closing seconds gave San Antonio an 86-85 win over Portland in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. That was on Memorial Day. Let's not forget, after struggling to get past the bad boys of the NBA, Michael Jordan and the Bulls put the finishing touch on a sweep of defending NBA champion Pistons in the Eastern Conference Memorial Finals on Memorial Day in 1991. That's some interesting news. With that also being said, one of the biggest ones, and this kind of hits home with what happened recently, the Celtics defeated the Rockets in 112 to 100 in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. It was the last time a Finals game was played on Memorial Day, from what I'm reading, which is very interesting. That being said, why I bring some of that stuff up is congratulations to the Miami Heat. Heat win in 7. Hell of an NBA season. You know what I mean? This NBA season has been crazy. It's been a roller coaster. You had teams like the Lakers that, after the All-Star break, didn't look like they were going to make the playoffs at all. Went on a huge win streak, won like 12 of the last 19 games. It was ridiculous. And played in the play-in game and everything, and get all the way to the conference the conference finals. That's rock and roll to them. Yeah, they got swept, and Denver is in, but still, that was a crazy season. And then you have the Miami Heat. I remember a trade deadline came and everybody was calling for Pat Riley's head, saying, hey, what were you doing, sleeping during the trade deadline? They didn't make a single move. All these moves that they thought they'd be made, they didn't make a single move, color. He sat pat and didn't let anything happen. You know what I mean? Didn't sign anybody, make any huge, crazy trade or any, X factor move or anything. In comparison, look at the Lakers. They brought in like so many players by trade deadline. I want to say it was like 8 players. I could be wrong about that number. I know I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but it felt like that. It felt like they brought so many players in comparison. And look at them. They're in the NBA Finals. The Miami Heat didn't make a single move and stood pat when everybody was calling for them to do something. I remember Heat fans saying that Pat Riley was sleeping, right? No, he just knew what he had. That's the reality. You know what I mean? Good coaches know what they have. Good GMs know what they have. They don't make the what is that term I'm looking for? The reactionary move. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, You're on mute, Color, I think.
Yep, I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
you're right. You're absolutely right, and I think that bears out in the results eventually.
Yeah, definitely.
No matter how long it might take.
Yeah, so shout out to the Miami Heat. Good luck against Denver. I think it's going to be a really tough game. Denver plays fast. They're fast-paced, counterattack, fast break type of style team. And they have what? He's a two-time. They have Jokic, which is a two-time MVP. So they have some really good talent over in Denver. So good luck against them. Good luck to the Miami Heat, and we'll see who wins. You might hear some feedback in the background. We have a huge storm going on right now.
Oh yeah, that woke me up this morning down here.
Is it raining there too?
It was this morning when it woke me.
Oh, it's coming down like a monsoon, bro. You can hear my metal roof, and all I hear is
yeah, good pounding thunder too.
Crazy.
So I stuck a couple of those pics in the overlay section if you want to have a look.
Yeah, let's actually check out Color on his Memorial Day weekend. We will definitely...
bring up the first one. We'll introduce the star of the show.
So check out Flipper, everybody.
So this is Miramar.
Miramar, okay. So
Miramar is the dolphin I met. I was scouting him out for
weekend.
I was scouting him out for QB1. Handles the football really well.
So Color, tell everybody where you went for the weekend and everything.
So I went up to St. Augustine for the weekend, visited Castillo de San Marcos and the old town, staying in Palm Coast. And of course, on the way, throughout our travels, we stopped at Marineland, which is basically a kind of a dolphin sanctuary that has a whole bunch of other stuff there too, sharks and shark tanks and stuff like that. And so you have a chance to like get up close with the dolphins. You can swim with them, you could just meet them if you want. And I just did the meet and greet. I'm not really into like swimming with dolphins and all that, but Mom and her friend did swam with them. They had a great time, really enjoyed themselves. It's great for the kids. And it used to be where they filmed a whole bunch of marine movies. It used to be called Marine Studios. And it was Hollywood's go-to place to film a lot of the underwater shots from back in the day. They actually have this big tank they built that has like a whole bunch of windows where they can put the camera in whatever angle they want. Really interesting stuff there. But fun fact, since you brought up this picture, this is a dolphin called Dazzle. She was the one that was, that my mom had worked with, and she was kind of jumping in the air and all that. But the people there told us that a dolphin does not have the ability to bend its back backwards the way that our logo looks. They don't even have the physical capability of doing that. Just so you all know, I had to set the record straight. That's why I'm showing this image, because this is about as far as they can bend their backpack.
Interesting.
And of course, that's Miramar saying hi to everybody. They got them all well trained. They're very, very highly intelligent. You don't quite understand how intelligent they really are until you're up close with them and look into their eye, and you can tell when somebody like understands, like you can tell when like it's just amazing. It's a really cool experience. And 45 years living on this earth in South Florida, and I've never seen dolphins like that in that capacity. So it was really enjoyable. I highly suggest people get up there if you're a Florida native and you haven't ever been up to Marineland in St. Augustine. I highly suggest it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Real fun. And that's her belly. And I promise you, I don't care what the lady said. All right. I noticed that there was a very, very light tint of aquamarine mixed in with the pink on his belly. You could see it. It was like just kind of like a dirty smattering. You know what I mean? And I told her about it. And she's like, oh no, it's the blue reflecting off of the tank. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I know what I saw. They definitely have like a very, very light hue of aquamarine on their belly. It's pretty cool.
Definitely. That's really awesome, Color. I'm glad you had a good time, man. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, appreciate you show and telling.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what the show is all about. That being said, I didn't really do anything too crazy. I went to the in-laws and hung out and had some good food, and we played some board games. My daughter from out of town came into town, so I'm spending most of my time with her. Like last 2 days we've been movie marathoning it. She wants to watch all the Marvel movies and everything in order. So that's what we've been watching.
Whichever order that is.
There's a couple different ways to watch it, and then you have to think about, you have to include the series and stuff. Some of the series, the TV series is it takes place during certain parts of the different movies. So she's decided she wants to watch all the movies first, then she'll watch the television series, second. She doesn't care, and I'm like, okay, whatever you want. But speaking of older pictures, I have some pictures on here from back in the day as well, Color, and I will share those with you. Like, here's a picture back in the day when I was super skinny. This was what was it, Land Shark Stadium at that time? It was against the Saints. This was I believe the year that the Saints won the Super Bowl, actually. And that's one of my good friend Jason, and that was my Ted Ginn Jr. Jersey back in the day. But man, I miss these orange seats. You know what I mean? I missed when you had the orange seats and everything. It looks nice. And then this was the view from my seat and everything. I believe I was on the away side, actually, of the stadium. There's some stuff going on the outside. Just some blast from the past,
That's what we need, a good old-fashioned orange out, man, at the stadium. That's fun.
I want them to bring the orange jerseys back. At least the good
so
ones.
much better in
not
orange,
the creamsicle, but the good orange jersey. I'm talking about that had like that blood orange, the darker orange. You know which ones I'm talking about, right?
Like that orange for my Hurricanes hat right behind me.
Kind of like that color, exactly. Yeah, shout out to everybody. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Definitely.
Oh, and other than the first day, I mean, it was kind of a little overcast. It was really windy, but other than that, the weather is great up there too, nice and dry. It's not a bunch of sweat bags all day.
The beach water there is really good too. It's not like super cold or anything. It's kind of like a clear water too, compared to down here. Well, at least where I'm at, in comparison. I think the water is like not as rough either. You know what I mean?
Well, not rough, but you've got a steady presentation of surfable waves, because you don't have the Bahamas blocking the fetch from the Atlantic Ocean. So you do have a steady, series of surfable waves coming in.
Definitely.
And there's no let up.
Definitely. So we're bringing Cause for Cleats back. My cause for cleats today that I'd like to talk about is it's actually Andrew Van Geekel's cause, which is Alex's Lemonade Stand. So if you don't know about ALSF, which is what the acronym is, the Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation shares the vision of their founder and creator, which is Alexandra Alex Scott, a cure for all children with cancer. Their mission, to change the lives of children with cancer through funding impactful research, raising awareness, and supporting families, and empowering everyone to help cure childhood cancer. So if you don't know, when Alex, who was diagnosed with childhood cancer just before her first birthday, was 4, she told her parents she wanted to set up a front yard lemonade stand. Her plan, to give them money to doctors to help them find a cure. Her first Alex's Lemonade Stand held with the help of her older brother, Patrick, raised an astonishing $2,000 in one day. Hell of a haul in one day, I'll tell you that. While bravely fighting her own cancer, Alex continued to set up a lemonade stand every year. A new spread of remarkable girl who's dedicated to helping other sick children. People everywhere inspired to start their own lemonade stand, donating the proceeds to her cause. So, being 4 years old and you start a lemonade stand and you haul in $2,000 in your first day, wow, that's inspiring. I don't know what to tell you, Color. But I think that's pretty
It's a
inspiring.
lot of lemonade.
It is a lot of lemonade. If you'd like to know more about ALSF and whatnot, you can go to alexslemonade.org, and you can find all information about the foundation, where it started, how to donate, a lot of other information about special events, where the money goes, and whatnot, or ways to give or get involved, I should say. So check out Alex's Lemonade Stand at alexslemonade.org. So check them out. So how's it going, Color? How's everything? How's your morning going so far?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm about to switch over to mobile Color.
All right, so we're gonna get Color on the move
because I have some duties to attend to this morning while I'm doing the show. Definitely. Juggling everything, man, you know.
So
it is time for some football. The 11 deep crowd this morning is clamoring. They're like, "Come on, guys, stop talking about dolphins in the wild and petting dolphins' bellies and all that stuff." Although the lemonade was a good thing to talk about, so I don't want to knock that. But you know, they're like, "Come on, get on some football."
Definitely.
We got to make it up. There ain't no football. We got to imagine it. We're projecting it in our heads. It's 1st and 10 in the first quarter, Ali. What you got?
Well, before we get into that real quick, Color, I want to shout out to the other people that have added themselves to our...
Yep. And while you do that, I'm going to drop myself and back and switch over.
No worries. I want to shout out to people that have added themselves to the chat. Marino's Goat, how's it going? NFL is lit. Concrete, I see you. Shake Money, Newfoundland, everybody, Aquavision, everybody that's here. And I apologize if I don't know your first name, but it's C. Hoffel. So fins up to you, man. Sorry if I did not say that correctly. Apologies, I'm not the best with names or pronunciation. Color he might come in here and school me on how to say that properly.
It really depends on the person when it's a proper name, because you know things get kind of changed and evolved. The German word is actually like Höfel, but a lot of people in America pronounce the OE as A, like a Hafel, or like sort of like, remember Jay Schrader? For some reason, everybody kept calling him Schrader, even though it was OE and should have been Schroeder, you know, but it's kind of a U sound. The OE is like a U sound, assuming it's a German name. So it'd be like Höfel.
Höfel. Okay. Höfel. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. But for all we know, he just says Hafel or something like that, or Hofel, you know. It really would be asked because it's a proper name. So it ultimately comes down to what the person prefers to pronounce it in their own family, you know, and all that.
Definitely. All right. Let's keep it moving.
Right. See, the EL is like a full instead of a fell, you know. So like they just dropped the E. So his family over time dropped the E, and it's just Hofel.
Hofel. Okay. Hofel. Rock and roll. Got it. So sorry about that, sir. I apologize. Just needed to verify. But yeah, it's time for some football. We got OTAs back in the house. We got people getting the orange jersey again. If people don't know, the orange jersey goes out to whoever they felt was the top performer for that day. We had Savon Ahmed recently, and now we had Javon Holland in the house. Miami Dolphins were reporting that Javon Holland's playlist, because if you have the orange jersey, basically you get to be the DJ for the practice, playing all the music and everything. He had Slide by Calvin Harris, Denver, Jack Harlow, Love Song, Rihanna, and You Rock My World by Michael Jackson were just some of the names on his playlist. So that is pretty interesting. Shout out to Javon Holland, already making waves at the OTAs. What else we got going on? So we've had the off season, we've brought in free agents, we've had the draft, we drafted players, we brought in undrafted players. A lot to digest this past off season. And we're not even over. Today is the eve of the June 1st cuts. So this week, you're going to see a lot of players cut. You're going to see teams get a fluctuation of cap space, and more moves might be made this week. We've been rumored with some of those moves. We've been, there's been talks of us, bringing in more offensive linemen. The most notable one is the fact that we've been rumored to be considering bringing a veteran running back, specifically Dalvin Cook. The Vikings, last I heard, they've kind of informed him that they were going to release him. Then I heard they're okay keeping him. Then I was told they're going to release him again. Keep going back and forth. We'll see what they do. If they release him, I do expect Miami to at least be on the phone with him and see where things are and see what happens. I don't know. I would have said earlier this offseason, I would have said, yeah, I think it's definite that he'd become a Dolphin. However, I don't know. Bring in A-Chain, who's done pretty good so far from what I heard. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily a need. There might be other needs that might be bigger. Linebacker is a position that I heard that might be a need that the Dolphins do need to address before camp, or at least before the start of the season. Yes, we brought Andrew Van Ginkel back. Yes, we do have Tyndall. Yes, we did bring in David Long and some other linebackers. But Tyndall, going back to Tyndall, I've heard it during the OTAs, he hasn't really been present. He didn't really show that he had, really showed up to show what he has in the tank. He hasn't really, he's been kind of like missing out there. Even though he's there, it's just like going through the motions. Nothing's really standing out from what I understand. Is linebacker a need? We did bring in Aubrey Miller from Jackson State, undrafted rookie. I'm very excited now. I'm very high on him. I think he's very a smart football player that knows how to finish. And when I say finish, he knows how to finish the tackle. He doesn't let people a lot of times get past him very much. He has a lot of abilities that that Jerome Baker has. I've been told that he's very similar to Jerome Baker. What do you think, Color? Do you think linebacker is a real need, or do you think that Dalvin Cook stuff is really going to happen?
Well, I mean, it may. I mean, both. I guess both could both could happen if the
both could be true. That's true.
If the money's worked the right way. But I know we've done a lot in the linebacker arena this offseason, but I do think there is probably a need to bring one more guy in at the very least to sharpen more iron and another camp body maybe, and who knows what you get. You know what I mean? I wouldn't make a splash per se on another linebacker, but yeah, I think there could be something to be said for one more guy, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know really who's out there really in free agency. I'll have to look to see if there's any free agent linebackers still looking for a job, or if there's anybody. Yeah,
right, exactly, and that'd have to be a guy that for whatever reason is down on his luck, but ready to come back and sharpen some iron. And if that's all we get out of him, I think there's still a need, a good need for that in camp at the very least.
Definitely. What's up, Fred? I see you in the chat. How's it going? But yeah, I think there's a possibility we might bring in. We even could bring in a couple of guys. It's very possible. There's still money to be moved around. There's still ways to, there might be some cuts that we still might get. Who knows? You know, there might be some surprise cut that opens up more cap space. Who knows? There might be something we do there. If there's somebody,
show correction too, real quick, is it's the O that you drop. So they do the traditional American change and say Heffel.
Okay. So speaking of, so it's the O that they say,
It's
not
the O
E.
that gets dropped, right? You say it's Heffel.
Heffel. Okay.
Right.
So, Mr. Heffel says that Reuben Foster would be worth a low risk gamble. This is true. I believe he's playing in the USFL though, isn't he? I believe he is. We might have to look that up.
Oh,
actually.
did he make it over there?
Yeah, I think he signed with.
So after all that, Reuben Foster didn't get picked up by anybody.
Well, from what I understand, people were kind of concerned about the injuries that he's had. Supposedly, one of his injuries is kind of concerning, but he did get picked up. I believe in the USFL. I'm actually going to pull that up because I'm pretty positive he is currently there for them. Just bear with me one moment. Here we go. Yeah, he plays for the USFL. Trying to see what team it is that he plays for. Pittsburgh Maulers. The Pittsburgh Maulers is the team that he plays for in the USFL. So I don't know how that works. Like, I know they have a shorter season, right, Color?
Yes, I do believe so.
Yeah, I believe they have a shorter season. I think he could definitely sign with somebody, and maybe Miami does have him on. You know, they might be looking at him. Maybe they need to see, what he did at the USFL, or at least in the playing level. This at least gives them more looks and teams something for teams to think about, in a sense. So that might be somebody. I'm actually looking up current free agents right now. See who else is out there. If there's anybody that you think the Miami could sign as a possible free agent this summer before camp, put it in the chat. I'd like to see what you guys think. Let's see. DeAndre Hopkins is still a free agent. I'm not saying that we need a wide receiver, but I have a strong inkling that there might be a dark horse to sign him, and I think that's the Ravens. I think seeing him in a Ravens uniform with OBJ and Andrews and Lamar Jackson and the other wide receiver that they just got in the draft, that'd be a sick offense. What do you think, Color?
Yeah, and it would stop. With Odell Beckham and a couple of the other moves they made, it would absolutely snatch every bit of leverage Lamar Jackson has to it's put up or shut up with your arm at this point. You know what I mean? Because and I'm a believer, but at the same time, he still has to do it, and there is absolutely no more. The Ravens ain't giving me what I need. You know what I mean? This is it for him.
Yeah, definitely. Just trying to see if there's any notable names that are still available here. Let's see here. Dalton Risner, offensive guard, is still available. Melvin Ingram. I actually kind of think we bring Melvin Ingram back. Personally, I would at least. Yeah, I don't really know who I think we might wait to see who gets cut. I think June 1st might bring some surprise cut that we're not expecting. At least not that we know there might be somebody that gets cut that we weren't aware of yet. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think that there are players we could definitely bring in. What's up, Cap for Life? I see you. Yeah, I think Melvin Ingram is still available. Let me verify that because he's on this list I'm looking at. Let's see.
I know there was somebody looking at him, but I don't think they picked him up.
Trying to see if I can find anything. Yeah, I don't see anything that shows that he signed with anybody. So I believe he is still a free agent currently, and I'm actually going to Spotrac to verify. Yeah, he's still a free agent according to everything I've seen here. So, and actually, let me see who they have on their free agent list. They're usually up to date. Come on, here we go. Available dates. Carson Wentz is still available. Matt Ryan hasn't signed with anybody. Let's actually put it to position. We want. What do you think? Middle linebacker or outside linebackers or weak side linebackers more important? What do you think? Inside linebacker? That's kind of what we're lacking, we think.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, that would be the better spot for it.
So there's some names on here that are familiar, as well as names that we were actually connected with during certain drafts. Zach Cunningham was a guy that a lot of people thought we could go after in his time for the draft when he was drafted. He's available. Deion Jones, Miles Jack is still on the board. Remember, he used to play for Jacksonville Jaguars, if I believe correctly. Kyle Van Noy, Quan Alexander. Those are just some of the names that you can put out there. Let's see. Looking defense altogether. Trying to see if there's any like major names. That's basically who I see primarily right now that are some of the bigger names regarding inside linebacker. I don't really see anything else that's really standing out. There's some big-time wide receivers still available. Kenny Galladay is still available. DeAndre Hopkins.
And, as far as DeAndre goes, I'm kind of intrigued just because, I know the guy is having serious issues, like, in his head. Like, he don't seem to be the same player anymore and whatever else. But, I mean, you know how I am about wide receivers and about catching the football. And there's nothing. I will go to my grave arguing with people about him being elite in that arena. I mean, the guy just does not drop footballs. It's just he's really got some gifted hands.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So
He's
one
of the best.
If he can, if he can be made to, I don't know if. Obviously we're the ship of wayward souls. You know what I mean? And we got the coach that everybody likes. So, we're possibly a destination where he could get back on track at. And, a guy like DeAndre Hopkins getting back on track could be a pretty dang good weapon.
Definitely. Let me throw this out to you, Color. So, I want to say it was prior to him being released. DeAndre Hopkins put out, I think he did an interview of some kind, and he made some statements of what he was looking for in his next team. So some of the things that he was looking for was young quarterback that is up and coming, very strong defense, someone that is building to be a contender. Like a lot of things that he put in place that he wanted to where he wanted to go, almost sounded like he was touting for Miami at one point.
Well, we do sort of fit that description, but there again, this is the part I have a problem with him on, and that I see it makes me want to run as far as I can away from the guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't see anybody lining up down the road to give you a phone call. You know what I mean? Like, to be saying all that, you're lucky anybody even gives you a job, man. And it's that attitude that makes people go, no, I don't want nothing to do with DeAndre Hopkins. I don't want to touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I get you. Listen, there's some things that I agree. I'm looking at it. How do I put this? I'm looking at it strictly as the talent and what the possibilities on the football field. I'm not looking at the outside of the NFL stuff. Not looking at the fact that he supposedly took some performance enhancing supplement of some kind, or any of the off-field stuff or issues that they have that are outside of what he did on the field. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just looking at the height.
Well, sure. Well, sure. I'm just pointing out that it's like, for him to be able to be saying that, like, I've never heard anybody say that and actually ever come through. Like, everybody that's ever said that, you've never heard from in the league again. They just don't operate that way, man. I mean, yeah, I guess you got a guy every now and then that can say that kind of thing, like Aaron Rodgers did with the Jets. But hey, watch what happens there. I mean, you know, this idea that they could just wield their finger like that. Oh, I want to be on a team like this, that, and the other. Well, none of that stuff is guaranteed for any team.
Yeah.
Except maybe the Kansas City Chiefs, and they ain't knocking. You know what I mean?
This is true. It's definitely not guaranteed. I was looking at the list here to see, would you take a flyer on a Miles Jack or somebody like that?
That's not a bad. That wouldn't be a bad idea. You know, he kind of got put in his place recently. You know, his last season, but he may. You know, he's going to want to. He's probably on fire to come back and prove that he's the Miles Jack he was being hyped up for his first couple seasons. So that's kind of intriguing. One other thing on the DeAndre Hopkins thing, you know, like, because he doesn't go somewhere, does that, or let's say if he came here, right, and we picked him up, right, does that mean because he chose to come here that we are all of those things he said? And that's now a guarantee because DeAndre Hopkins determined that we have a good defense and we're building to contend. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Like, I don't need DeAndre Hopkins validation for that.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I mean, just because somebody said that we're some, whatever it may be, some.
Yeah, we don't need to rock that boat in our fan base. No, thank you, DeAndre Hopkins. Keep it to yourself what you want to, who you want to play for. I don't know of many players that don't want to play for that type of team. So that's the other thing, like, unless you're Nick Foles, I don't know anybody that's like, I really just want to play. It don't really matter where.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. I get it. That also being said, Color, let's actually shift gears on the player a little bit. Let's go to Dalvin Cook again. I've been thinking about this. Some people in the chat have said we don't need Hopkins, we don't need a receiver. Okay, I understand that. We did bring in Chosen Anderson. We still have Cedric Wilson, surprisingly, on the books here still. I really think we need to make sure this coming up season that we ensure that our running game gets going. It gets going early. You know what I mean? We need to make sure we're running the ball effectively, as well as more often to open up the passing game. So if all we do is pass, eventually teams are going to catch on, and then it's going to be easy to defend because we're never running. I think the running game is crucial to this season because I think it unlocks the offense entirety to allow Tyreek Hill to do Tyreek Hill things, allow Jalen Waddle to be Jalen Waddle. It allows Mostert to be Mostert and whatnot. They work in tandem together. Do you think bringing in a veteran running back, let it be Dalvin Cook or someone else, is absolutely needed? Or do you think somewhere else on the team might be more, well,
it's looking like it's not going to be ridiculously expensive to get him. So,
let's put it out
this. It's going to get to the point where it's going to be a why not situation. You know what I mean?
I got you. Let me ask you this. Would you bring in Dalvin Cook for $7 million a season?
Man, that's okay.
It's not over 10. It's not 13 million.
Well, I mean, I think if there's incentives to get the 7 million involved, maybe.
Let's say it's 5 million with incentives, like $5
Okay,
million with
again, that's not much different than 4 and 8, which is what Capitan kind of predicted it originally. You know what I mean? So yeah, I could go with that.
Yeah, I think he'd come in at a lower cost because if you look at Dalvin Cook's career and what he's done, he's kind of on the second half of his career. You know, he's on the slope now. You know what I'm saying? Where every year he's getting older and older, and as we all know, running backs don't last that long in this league anymore. You know what I mean? There's very few running backs, if you're not Adrian Peterson, that were still playing, at an older age. You know
Although they can thrive in a system like ours where we're doing a lot of short yardage passing to running backs. I mean, it's almost kind of like a home run hitter that's later in his career that goes to a team with a designated hitter rule. You know what I mean? So there's something to be said there. I mean, he's still got a quick step to him. In my estimation, anyway. I wouldn't be necessarily feeding them a ball up the middle, 100 times a game.
Yeah, I understand. I think I like what Newfoundland said. He said a dual threat running back would be a solid move. I agree with you 100%. Having a running back similar to Dalvin Cook allows you to play him in the running game and the passing game. Same thing with A-Chain. I think he can do the same thing, very effectively. Now,
right.
The question is, who would we not keep if we were to bring in Dalvin Cook? Well, there's Savon Ahmed and Gaskins, and even Jeff Wilson only has $250,000 guaranteed. So I think Wilson might be out. And then it would be, which one do you think the Dolphins keep? Gaskins or Savon Ahmed?
The guy who can catch the ball better.
Kind of the one out is the oddball out, to be honest. I think
it's the guy that can catch the ball better that stays.
I think so. You're right. I absolutely think you're right. And, you think about the dual threat is so good because it allows you to effectively scare the defense in the running game and passing game, as well as you can, play a lot more dual running back schemes and have one, move out to the, in the slot and motion and whatnot. There's so many different things you could do that confuse the defense. So I like bringing in a dual threat. Now, is it what we really need? Some people say it's cream of the crop, but I think Dalvin is one of those guys that if you brought him in, he could run behind the current offensive line that we have. I don't really think their Vikings offensive line is much different than our offensive line. I really don't. If you actually go and look at the players that they have, the players they brought in. I mean, these are the guys that they brought in Jesse Davis, and expected something from him later to drop him. You know what I mean? Left guard. Oh, we have Dan Feeney. Dan Feeney, I think, is going to fit that role. And shout out to Dan Feeney before I forget. Shout out to Dan Feeney and Javon Holland. Both had birthdays this weekend. So shout out to them.
Do you know the date on that?
Give me a second. I can tell you what date it was. Not Javon Holland. It wasn't Javon Holland. I'm sorry. Dan Feeney and Phillips, your favorite linebacker. Jalen Phillips had the birthday. Let's see. Jalen Phillips' birthday. Speaking of Jalen Phillips, he looked rip as hell in the pictures I saw. For his birthday weekend, he was on a boat with quite a few players, Chubb and company, and he looked ripped. May 28th was his birthday.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
My niece is the 29th.
1999. That was the year. That was my junior year of high school.
Wow.
And Dan Feeney, his birthday. May 29th.
That's my niece's birthday. I knew one of them would be the
1994.
29th.
Yep. So shout out to them and their birthdays. Shout out to anyone that had a birthday in May. I'm a May baby. My birthday was May 10th. So, and shout out to anyone else in the chat that had a birthday this month. And shout out to anybody having a birthday this coming up month.
Oh yeah, and mom was the 24th.
You forgot your mom's birthday.
Well, just now. I didn't forget it on a day, but just now
Okay.
I
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing.
my ex-wife was the 20th, so I mean that's easy. That was nice and forgettable.
I gotcha. Shout out to your mom and happy birthday, Mom. So
Tell them yourself.
Thank you.
you're welcome. So we have let's see. Newfoundland also says A-Chain catching the ball out in space might be scary and might be the answer. You're right. You know, that's definitely a possibility. You know, I just think I just go back and look at how, like, a lot of people, like, I know like Color and I and other people on this platform have tried this, you know, have explained that as much as you think that we're similar to the 49ers, we're not exactly the 49ers team. I do understand the concept that, you know, we're being built similar. I do definitely see how we build this team going forward. You're going to see a lot of likeness between players we bring in. I know on the other night on the show with El Capitan and Shake Money and everything, they were talking about is A-Chain similar to Tyreek Hill? Well, being drafted, yeah, they're very similar build, size, and mold and everything. They are definitely similar in speed. You know, both of them can run, you know, approximately 23 miles an hour or close to it. Will they be used the same in the future? That's up to the Dolphins. But bringing in a Dalvin Cook, I kind of think helps in the sense that when one of those guys goes down, when A-Chain goes down, or when your other star, you know, X Factor goes down, I think having a guy like Dalvin Cook or having a similar like player come in could definitely, you know, fix the situation. If you remember, we've talked about this several times, Colin, over the years, or the past 2 years, I should say. 49ers, when they were who was it against? The Rams? 49ers versus the Rams in the NFC Championship game. I can't remember who went down, if it was Debo or it was David Ayuk. One of their stars went down and it changed the whole premise of the entire game. You know?
Yeah, that was I thought it was one of the running backs, but
I want to say it was Debo that went down, I think. But it changed the whole premise of the game. Now, if you look at our passing game, we have a Jalen Waddle, we have, you know, Tyreek Hill. One of them goes down, we still have the other one. You know, they're very similar. You can fit the role. At running back, you have Mostert. You know, we have A-Chain. There's similar running backs, not quite the same. They have the same speed, but I think A-Chain's a lot more balanced. I think he gets past those last one or two, you know, guys on the defensive line or on the defense that, you know, to make runs, where Mostert was getting hit, you know, the last player, you think he's going to break it and he still goes down. But you have Dalvin Cook here. Then you have Dalvin Cook, you have A-Chain, you have Mostert. It's pick your poison. If I'm a defense, I'm going to throw up because I don't know really where they're going to go with the ball. You know what I mean? It's up in the air. They're going to be standing still while everyone's flying past them. You know? I
think overall we really have to kind of get away from the direct comparison to the 49ers and shift over to more like what Kansas City's doing. I keep saying it a lot over, you know, past few weeks. I really believe that, you know, we're a lot more likely to be, emulating the Chiefs and not the 49ers. Although, again, we're talking about both situations utilizing a West Coast offense. So, it's just a matter of how you work your wrinkles inside that West Coast. So that's what separates, let's say, the Chiefs from the 49ers. But I mean, you look at the guys we bring in the mold that we bring in, the mold of running back that we bring in, the mold of wide receiver that we bring in, and the style of and what we're trying to do. I don't see much difference, between what Andy Reid's put together.
Yeah, you're right about that. There's a lot of different ways. Personally, that's one thing I don't like. Like when people are trying to say we're emulating another team. I don't want to emulate other teams. I want to emulate the Miami Dolphins.
Well, I just mean to say that it creates emulation. I'm not saying we're trying to emulate them, but I'm just saying that, like, we're going that route with our wrinkles. We're kind of building something similar, because obviously there's no rule against copying success. You know what I mean? But that don't mean it'll be, I guess emulation is a wrong word. Emulation suggests inferiority, trying to, in superiority's image, you know what I mean? But that's not really what I meant by it.
No, I completely understand what you're saying. I get it. The reason I bring it up is because a lot of people outside of our fan base and stuff say that we're doing that. People are trying to say, you guys are basically the 49ers. Who says we're like the 49ers? We're not basically the 49ers. We're
yeah, that's kind of what I meant to say. Is I see more similarities with the Chiefs than I do the 49ers.
That's something to be said.
And the other thing about emulation, remember, emulators actually do a better job than what they're emulating. Like, I mean, a computer emulating an old Atari system is much faster than the Atari was.
Yeah, definitely, I get that. There's different ways to. The other aspect I was trying to get at is there's different ways to build this team. You know what I mean? I understand everybody wants us to sign the starting, left guard or right tackle or whatever. We've brought in some offensive linemen recently. I still think we bring one more in possibly, and I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a Dalvin Cook or another, let's say, premium player that comes in, especially if they're coming in on a lower side contract where it's more team friendly. I'm okay with it. What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? And you think about it, when you have talent like Dalvin Cook, A-Chain, Mostert in your running back field, it gives defenders, the defensive line, and the linebackers a lot more to think about. It gives them a lot more to think about because now you have to decide, are we going to try to stop the run? Are we going to be stopping pass? It divides the defense into smaller groups where those other players in certain positions will be able to take a lot more advantage because there's a lot less defense that is defending their area of the game. I think having those players opens up the running game actually, I have to take that back. It opens up the passing game, having those players in the running back field, right? As well as having those players in the passing game opens up the running game.
Yep, because you have to respect those guys in the backfield.
And that's what I think the problem was, is they didn't respect our running game as much. You know what I mean? That's where you started seeing Tyreek Hill falter or Jalen Waddle falter or
I was saying the same thing on a space last night that it's not so much we could run for a measly 50 yards a game, but if the defense respects our run, if the defense is afraid that we'll get 10 yards whenever we want to, we don't necessarily have to have all the yardage in the world because that'll open up the passing game.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And I don't necessarily think that we need to have like the top tier offensive linemen in front of some of these guys. If you're really that fast or that shifty or that talented, then you should be able to get, in my opinion, you should be able to move effectively without having the top of the top in front of you. You know what I mean? I think by having all the talent spread all throughout the team, I think that's where you're going to get, you're going to be most effective in building.
Well,
that
yeah,
running
that's
game.
one of those cases where you have to, you go back and just like with the quarterback and offensive line and quarterback and receivers, a running back is going to be, an offensive line is going to can be elevated by its running back somewhat. Yeah, the offensive line has to have the skill. It has to be good. It's not like a running back can make an offensive line, but it has to be easier on your offensive line when you've got a guy that can hit the hole really hard and is in the secondary before you have to hold your 5-second block. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So we're past the 1 hour mark, Color. I'm going to do the rundown one more time. And we're going to take a quick break for about 2 minutes. But meanwhile, while we do that, and actually let me, we're going to take our quick commercial break real quick first. But we'll be right back with you guys. Okay, Caller?
Roger that. Lead the way.
All right. So sit back, check out some of the description in the below. There's different links there. Check that out. Some great shout out to our affiliates. And here's a list of some of the different people you can check out on our other content. But sit back and relax. We'll be right back.
Like and share.
That's right. Hit like and subscribe. Check out Finn's Tailgate. You can check us out. You can check out El Capitan, Color, Cup of Coffee with Color. Color, you got anything going on today?
Not so far, but I will be, now that I'm back in the groove, back from hiatus, I will be following this show up usually every morning for coffee and a cup of color right at roughly 8 o'clock. I know you got a hard stop at 8 o'clock. So I was going to continue the fun and have a cup of coffee with the crew and everybody, and probably do that for, I want to shoot for a couple hours every morning after we're done here. And, obviously, if it expands further than that because of whatever there is to talk about, I'll go as far as noon. And obviously, that gives us an opportunity to, maybe here and there fire up some panel, let people come up, give an opinion in the morning. It'd probably be a little more civil being in the morning and all that. And, give people a chance to, maybe get out some of their own feelings about what we talked about on top of the morning, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
we'll be following that up. That's going to be a regular thing. I'll be following up this show with a coffee and a cup of color just about every morning. So look out for that. Keep your notification bell hit.
Definitely. So not today, but starting going forward, that's kind of what the plan is, right?
Yeah, today I just got back, Monday, Tuesday, so I kind of just got to get back in the swing of things. But that's kind of like, I'm glad we fired up top of the morning this morning because it allows me to get back in my rhythm and groove and get everything going on. So, talking to you about chopping it up with you here and there about things early in the morning gets my head going and gets me. It's a lot easier for me to continue and start up and continue to talk about our favorite football team, the Miami Dolphins.
That's
And
right.
so because a lot of that's really what's been my hitch is early in the morning, your head's still kind of in a fog. It's like I might say things that people don't want to hear about our team that early in the morning, So gives me an opportunity to chop it up with you a little bit, get my head going, and bring some really decent content afterwards. Keep you guys
Definitely.
going in the morning.
Definitely. So if you're just coming into the channel this morning, if you're just woken up and you saw, wow, the Finn's Tailgate this early, yes, this is brand new morning show. It's top of the tailgate here on the Finn's Tailgate Network. Definitely check us out Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Eastern. I will be going for the rest of the week, Thursday, Friday. However, and I'll be going Monday. However, Tuesday through next week, I may not have my show going in the morning because I might be out of town on vacation for a bit.
Well, if
Just
we're
being
already going in the swing of things, we got to keep it going, and it's likely that I can fill in for you as a main host during
if
that period
you
of
can
time
do
to
that,
keep the show
rock
going.
and roll.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. I don't want this to die, man. I want it to keep going. So we
Yes,
want to keep,
definitely.
and we want to give you the local flair too. We're going to tell you, hey, I'm out in the road right now in Palm Beach County, and Forest Hill Boulevard's rolling pretty good for all of you that have to take that route. Traffic's pretty light. Not light per se. It's relative speaking. It's rush hour, but traffic's moving. There's not a lot of craziness going on. There's not a lot of stoppages. So I can't really speak to the area code south of me, but yeah, it's a little rainy this morning. Clouds are starting to clear out, but looks like it's going to be another beautiful day in South Florida.
And that's Color with his on the spot traffic stop. Check out also the weather report. Currently, it's 79 degrees in Miami. Today's high is 83 and low of 75. Currently, there's 84% humidity. And it looks like the percentage chance of rain or thunderstorm has increased this evening to 50% chance. So it was 48,
Right.
now it's 50. So it looks like it's increasing. More than likely, you're going to have some nighttime showers and thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Just so you're
And
aware.
the morning stuff is on its way to clearing out. I see nothing but blue skies to the west, so it'll probably be a nice, hot, sunny day. And I was telling Ali backstage, the traffic report for Miami would be really easy. I don't need to even be down there. It's whichever way you're going, go the
Go the
other way.
other way.
That's the traffic report for Miami.
That's awesome. But yeah, while you're hanging out with us, you can also check out other content by myself. I have broken takes that I usually do on the weekly. I don't know if we're gonna do one tonight. That's up in the air. Color. We'll talk about it. But also you can check out stuff, some stuff from the past from DTA. He's on furlough right now. Can't wait till he comes back. We got Lewis and the Rabid Dolphin, Shake Money in his drive time. Sounds like Shake Money is like all over the place, man. I can't even keep up. Every time I'm around, he's
He's
loud.
got the fire, man. He's bit, man. So definitely
Yeah.
keep the notification going for Shake. He's usually going to go around drive time.
Mhm. Yeah, so definitely tell your kids, tell your wife, tell your neighbor, Shake Money and the Finn's Tailgate. We got a lot of shows, a lot of content coming your way. If you'd like to donate to the channel, we appreciate it. We have Cash App, Venmo. We also accept super chats. So definitely check that out, or super stickers. Also, that being said, we also have our memberships. Let's not forget about them. And I apologize if I forgot about them earlier. We have like 3 different levels of memberships: Familia, Amigos, and MVP. They have different content, different emojis and stuff you can get. It's pretty cool if you want more content, or if you want more exclusive notification. That's a good way to do it too, that we're going to be going live or have some type of content put out for you. So there's going to be a lot of different changes coming up soon. So keep an ear out for that. El Capitan has some announcements to make, and it's going to be some cool stuff. So definitely check that out. While you're hanging out, in the description, also check out some of our affiliates.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything.
Officially licensed everything. I love that guy. Whoever's voice that is, rock and roll, man. I need to get him on the show. Anyway, definitely check out Fanatics. Get your officially licensed gear. You want to show off some flair at the games, or you want to, where I get all my cool Miami Dolphin hats or my draft hats that I collect, or jerseys that I got. Which I have a good one that I'm going to be wearing at the games pretty soon. You guys will definitely see that soon. Definitely check out Fanatics. Fanatics always throwing out deals, always has stuff going on or some sale, or get expedited shipping for free. I ordered a jersey. I ordered a custom jersey. Check this out, Color. I ordered a custom jersey. I want to say it was about 2 or 3 months ago, right? I ordered it on a Friday. It arrived Monday. Custom jersey.
That's nice.
That was like super fast. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you mean to tell me this came in like what, 3 or 4 days? It was ridiculous. So definitely check out Fanatics. While you're also checking out Fanatics, we also have some of our other affiliates. You can check out Doobie Energy Drink. They got some really cool energy drink supplements, different stuff that you can get to help boost your energy, maintain your focus. Their big shtick with them is they have a lot of supplements and different stuff in their products that help benefit the brain in focusing and staying energized. You don't get any of those sugars that are really bad, or those artificial sugars that do a lot of stuff to the body that you really don't want. In addition, supposedly they don't give you the shakes or the crashing that you would get with most products that are out there. So definitely check out Doobie Energy Drinks. You can also check out Backroom Collection. Backroom Collection has some cool artwork, canvas work, different stuff that you can, hang on your wall, your man cave, office, or a sports room, whatever. Even your bar, if you have a sports bar or anything like that, or some restaurant or any type of business, definitely check out Backroom Collection. You can save 10% off your purchase at checkout by using code TFTG at checkout. So shout out to all of our affiliates. We appreciate everything. Appreciate everybody going to their links. It definitely helps out the channel. So that being said, Color. So how's it going? How's the ride home? You said the traffic isn't very light. Is that correct?
Yep. It is. It is, surprisingly.
Gotcha. Trying to think, what else is there to talk about? What else is going on? Let's see. Anything going on in the news? Some interesting things around the NFL. So, do you think Russell Wilson is looking sharp with Sean Payton? What do you think, Color?
I haven't seen. What's the prevailing thought?
Well, they say that you should sell on that thought. They're saying that you shouldn't buy into it. They don't think he's going to look that sharp under Sean Payton yet. I think looking at what the Denver offense did last year and their problems that they had, I think there's a lot more on the macro of things that has to be fixed or adjusted or addressed before you can start sharpening, the micro of things. You know what I mean? I think they have a lot of different things that they need to address with their team. That's my opinion.
Right. And you're not talking about a young pup, Russell Wilson, that, when he was with Seattle, when they're building and all that, and he was able to like get them pretty deep, even while they're rebuilding. He's not that Russell Wilson anymore.
So what they're saying is that it's going to be impossible to know if Wilson is going to look sharp until they see him in live game action. So maybe not until we see him in the preseason.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I think the guy's intelligent enough to work well with Sean Payton in the long run.
Maybe in the long run, but I think
I don't think he has it anymore to overcome that building phase and and get him wins, even though they're inferior team. You know what I mean? Although Pete Carroll already does have a pretty decent, run game to supplement going on. I mean, not Pete Carroll. What am I
Sean
thinking
Payton.
of? Peyton, yeah. I don't know. It really depends. It really
Yeah.
depends on where
They're
Russell looks
saying
at.
that Wilson.
It's
Go
almost the
ahead.
same question with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they're saying Wilson is in that danger zone of regression. Not everyone ages the same as Tom Brady, is what they're saying.
Right,
So,
exactly. He's not on the TB12 diet.
So here's another one. This guy is actually my third best wide receiver in this league. Devontae Adams, they're saying, is happier as a Raider, and they're saying to buy into it. There's some logic behind speculation that Devontae Adams could be on the way out of Las Vegas. The Raiders traded for him last year, reuniting him with his teammate Derek Carr, his college teammate Derek Carr, and handing him a 5-year, $140 million contract. Now Carr is gone, and Jimmy Garoppolo will be in his place. Adams raised some eyebrows with a comment in a piece from Mirin Fader of The Ringer. The star receiver said, "We don't see eye to eye on what we think is best for us right now." At the end of the day, like a couple times now, I'm ecstatic to get work with new guys. That's what Adam said to Nick Shook of the NFL media. So it almost sounds like he almost had a change of heart. Maybe somebody had a reality check with him. Maybe
Yeah, tell
he
us
just need to get
you were
used to it.
taking plays off without telling us you were taking plays off.
That is true. Basically they're saying the bottom line is that McDaniels showed how much he values what Adams brings to the offense and the role that he gave him. The former Packer saw a career high of 180 targets, which led to another all-pro season. So he was taking plays off and still had 180 targets.
Yeah, but he all as Doc Reginald Brown pointed out last night in the space, he also is on a list of, which is surprising to me because I'm his skill level. You know what I mean? So you're either. I don't want to say a person's not catching, but we know he has the ability
Oh yeah,
to not have that many drops.
that is true. That is absolutely true. I mean, Devontae Adams had, in my opinion, he is a go-to fantasy player. He legitly has one of the best hands in the game. That's what I believe, and that's why he was always one of my first targets in fantasy, for a very long time. Looks like we lost color for a moment. He's on the move. But I do have the next one I want to talk about, which he should be joining us back here momentarily. Is Lamar Jackson. Is Lamar Jackson, or I should say, will Lamar Jackson run less in Todd Monken's offense? What do you think, Color?
What was the question again?
So the next one that they're talking about is Lamar Jackson. Will Lamar Jackson run less in Todd Monken's offense? What do you think?
I think inherently he will, and I think that's the goal. But I don't think anybody should think that he's going to be afraid to or be told not to.
Okay. So they're saying that according to Jackson, it's run the ball less and throwing the ball more, with former Georgia offensive coordinator Todd Monken taking over Greg Roman's former post. Running can only take you so far, Jackson said, per Jamison Hensley of ESPN, I'm sorry. And I feel like with the new era of teams and offense in the league, I feel like we need that. Coach Todd Monken. Need that. Coach Todd Monken, what I'm seeing in his offense so far is looking tremendous. So, I don't know, bro. I'm gonna say yes. You brought in all these offensive weapons. You brought in OBJ. You have Rashad Bateman there. You have Andrews. You have the I can never think of his name, but the wide receiver that they picked up in the draft, one of the faster receivers. You have all these weapons. It looks like they're going to be passing, but it's still Lamar Jackson. He still is an X factor at running the game or running the ball. You're still going to probably see them run the ball effectively. They still have some good running backs there. You know what I mean? So we will see. I think in my opinion, I could see their offense running similar to ours in a sense. When in the aspect of the passing game benefits the running game, the running game benefits the passing game, in that coexistence. That's basically what I'm trying to say when it comes to the Ravens. Here's another one. Dolphins may need to add help at linebacker. Now, we talked about this. They're saying that you need to buy into this color. Not all reports and buzz coming out of the OTAs was positive. Longtime Dolphins observer Omar Kelly noted some concern for Miami's linebacking corps. Writing for Sports Illustrated, Kelly noted that free agent Aubrey Miller went undrafted because of size concerns, 5'11", 227 pounds. However, he noted that Miller is similar to stature to Jerome Baker and free agent addition David Long. Then he made a concerning observation about 2022 draft pick. After watching Channing Tindall, he was invisible on Tuesday. It's clear that Andrew Van Ginkel move to the inside linebacker was a move made out of necessity. It's one thing to rely on speed and athleticism on the inside. It's another to have a room completely made of undersized players. There are some bigger linebackers who are available on free agent market. Jalen Smith started 11 games for the Giants last season. Stands 6'2", 245 pounds. Bringing back a 6'3", 250-pound Kyle Van Noy is an option too. I don't know about Kyle Van Noy. Would you bring him back? I can't hear your mount.
I mean, round and round we go. You know what I mean? How many more times is he? I mean, why can't he stay with somebody, man? You know?
That's true. He doesn't stay very long. It seems like he is 1 year in, 1 year out, 2 years there, and I'm done. You know what I mean?
I mean, I want somebody to have at least a long enough investment in this team that they care. You know?
That's true.
We don't need linebackers making business decisions.
That is true. I agree. I do think the linebacker position might be a position that we do still need to address. I do think we do need a little bit more size. But then again, if you think about it, Zach Thomas, Hall of Famer, he's in the Hall of Fame now. He's been nominated for this class of 2023.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about
5'11", 5'11". I'm okay with that. Even Roquan Smith, who I really wanted, I wanted us to get him, and the Ravens were able to get him for next to nothing, in my opinion. He's only like 5'11". He's undersized. And look at him. He's one of the better linebackers in this league. You know what I mean? So
is he gonna knock away a football from a tight end? Probably not, but I mean,
will he finish the tackle? Yes.
Is he gonna bust an offensive lineman in the mouth on a blitz? Is he gonna fill a hole, fill a gap, and bust a running back in the mouth? Probably.
Definitely. These are all things that, it's very interesting what they say about the Dolphins. Another interesting one was Darren Waller can transform the Giants' passing game. They're saying don't buy into it, sell it. The Giants' decision to trade Darren Waller was a solid one. The only one that gave up look who just made an appearance. First time on Top of the Tailgate. It's Mr. El Capitan himself.
What up, boys? Yeah, I wasn't gonna.
Who the hell is this asshole?
I wasn't gonna sit here and listen.
Good.
I wasn't gonna sit here and listen and not jump up.
I gotcha. You're cutting in and out, sir. Just so you know.
Oh, word. Yeah, it's commute.
I gotcha. Well, welcome to the show. It's our episode 1. We're talking some interesting things that came out of OTAs as well as what people are saying currently about the teams buying and selling. So big question for us was, should we do we have a need at linebacker, specifically inside linebacker? What do you think?
I, I would have said yes until the announcement of AVG being moved to inside linebacker. I've been a proponent of him moving to inside linebacker for over 2 years now. And finally, you get a veteran defensive coordinator like Vic Fangio to come in with some sense and say, why are we not playing this guy inside linebacker? So I feel like if there's a drop off at the inside linebacking unit for whatever reason, whether Malik Reed doesn't work out or David Long is injured, which he has been in his career, I think it's Andrew Van Ginkel who steps up and shows out at the inside linebacker position, solidifying himself as a starter in that position before year's end, if it's needed.
Do you think that that was the selling point on how they got Andrew Van Ginkel back in the offseason?
Well, Andrew Van Ginkel said so himself in an interview that, Vic Fangio reached out to him personally and told him that he sees him and he doesn't want him to leave because he believes he can have a higher impact of play by doubling as from an outside linebacker, which they still want to use him in certain packages, but also as an inside linebacker, and that he appreciates his talent and thinks he can use them. So,
okay, so you're saying that it's more than likely they still might use them in the outside from time to time.
I mean, you got to think the guy's got speed. He's got his pursuit speed is really good. That's what he is. The guy is just, he's got a nose for the football. So, you don't want to take him away from stuff he already knows how to do. But if you have him again, all defensive football, what you need the most is multiplicity, especially in, what Fangio has going on. You want corners that can play safeties that can play corner. You want to be able to show 5 a time and not know in which combination these guys are lining up in. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey was lined up in the slot, but now he's playing single high safety. You know what I'm saying? And that same type of methodology is applied to all 3 levels of the football field. So here's Andrew Van Ginkel. For the last 8 snaps, he's been out there 7 of them, and he's been playing down at the line at the outside linebacking position. Well, now you look and he's on there, but before the ball snap, he drops back, and he's one of the 2 off-ball linebackers in that set. I said it before, it doesn't really matter how seasoned of a head coach you are, or a head coach or a quarterback. If you're looking at a guy who you've been watching for the first quarter, has been playing at the line, and now he's playing off ball, you either do one or 2 things. You either miss him and go, what the hell? Or you look at him and you say, is this guy really for real right here? And you go at him. Either way, you're putting more into the quarterback, more into the offensive coordinator, more into the opposing offense to have to figure out what you're doing on defense. And that's not when offenses operate effectively. They operate effectively when you're trying to figure out what they're doing. When they're imposing their will. You know the play. You know where the ball is going. You should have the advantage. But if you're sitting here thinking about what the defense is doing all the time, you're not going to have an advantage at all.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what his consensus is. What do you think, Color?
I was actually letting him cook because I was researching some other information to catch me back up where we're at.
All right, so basically he's saying that, we talked about Van Ginkel and how he spoke with Fangio and be able to use him in the inside and outside, his speed, and basically what the benefits are having him there and letting them cook and whatnot. How do you feel about the linebacker position? And
I
And
really
Van Ginkel
I
and stuff
really
like
like that idea. I mean, I think that Van Ginkel thrives really well on the inside. I mean, he's a very patient linebacker. He doesn't, he's not fooled by the open gaps that, and the misdirection and all that. He's able to keep containment, or help us keep containment by it when he's in that position, when he's been used there before. And I really like the idea of focusing him there. I'm all for it.
I mean, think about since Andrew Van Ginkel's been with the Dolphins. Can you remember a play where you're like, "Oh man, look at Andrew Van Ginkel got smoked on that one"?
Not very often.
Other than everybody else chasing down, after containment is broken, chasing down players,
Yeah, maybe he missed a tackle trying to come back on the other side of the field or something. But I can rarely remember someone smoking Andrew Van Ginkel. I mean, I'm sure he has. Everyone gets fucking.
It's maybe once, and that was it. I have not hardly ever seen him.
Yeah,
get
nothing
smoked.
so obvious that it's apparent to anybody,
Certainly, it's not the consensus you would say that. Oh yeah, this guy gets burned. No.
No.
So I was listening earlier where you were saying about what Lamar Jackson will be in the new offense and stuff like that. I'm interested to see what Lamar Jackson will be now that he's got the bag. Will he become a diva? Will he become a guy that his heart isn't in it as much because there's not money to earn? Or I mean, listen, it's no secret that he played super hardball and it showed up in his trying and his performance. You know what I'm saying on there? But does he because the Ravens made good and made him, a gazillionaire, is he gonna show up and show out and do right by the Ravens? I mean, if Lamar Jackson has been holding back with how hard he'll go or how hard he'll push his body, what does that look like? You know what I'm saying?
You're absolutely right. You're kind of right because like what happens now? Now you got the bag. Are you just gonna take it easy? It's like I don't have to push it. I'm already getting paid. I'm getting paid the most. There's nothing else to work for. Or is he really gonna be like, now I'm gonna show you why you paid me this money and go all out? You know what I mean? That's a good question.
Another question I have too is the same question with Deshaun Watson. We forget Deshaun Watson has just been one of the strangest stories the last 3 years. A guy that was highly touted, everybody wanted, to the scandal to where it just swept under the rug. Very few teams in the running. The Browns come out of nowhere, making the highest paid player up to that point in guaranteed money, completely breaking the bank, irritating every owner across the land. And does he come out and show up and show out? There's speculation of D-Hop going to the Browns. The Browns are emerging as one of the number one landing spots to get DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, what does that look like, bro? Like the AFC, I mean, just think about it. Bro. This will be the first full season for Deshaun Watson. It's a new Ravens team with Lamar Jackson with the bag and the weapons and the new offense. The Jets now, who had a stout defense, bring in Aaron Rodgers to solidify their offense. They feel like they're a quarterback away. The AFC is going to be insane.
Yeah, I do think the AFC East is going to be insane. The Deshaun Watson thing is very, very questionable. They did address some needs in the offseason. They traded for Elijah Moore. They brought in more weapons for him. Will he be the man that he's expected to be is the big question. You think about it, there was so much going on that led up to him becoming a Brown. He had all the civil lawsuits. He had all the debacle, teams wanting him, not wanting him. Will they trade for him? Will they not trade for him? And whatnot. He finally gets to the team he wants. Then he had to go through all the dealing and wheeling with the NFL. Takes an 11 game or 12 game suspension. I can't remember now at this point. And I said while he was playing in OTAs and summer camp, it didn't look good. And I'm gonna give the guy credit that he had to deal with a lot, had to go through a lot. Didn't get a lot of live game action or whatever leading up to when he finally started playing the later end of the season. I'm gonna give him, okay, he had to go through all that. It's almost like 2 years of this stuff, right? Almost. This year, I think having a clear off season, he'll have a full summer camp. You have a full season. He has to show why they made the move. He has to show why they paid him the money that they did, because this could be potentially, it has the possibility, not saying it's going to be, but it has the possibility of being one of the biggest, if not the biggest busts in the NFL if it doesn't work out.
Well, yeah. I mean, remember how shining of a bright star was the Deshaun Watson story up until that point. And then he becomes a player entangled in scandal, for lack of a better term, blacklisted by the NFL. Let's call it for what it is. Oh, yeah. And where does he go? The one franchise that has no name to be tarnished. Everyone for years was like, ha, you're the Browns. Even when Baker Mayfield was taking them to the playoffs and making them respectable there for a little bit, everyone still laughed at the Browns. No one took them seriously. And so here he is put on that team. Does he become another Browns quarterback in a long line of what happened? Or does he legitimize them in an AFC North that's always been tough? They've got the Bengals. They've got the Steelers, who are going to be tough. They've got the freaking Ravens, who look like they've got a rebrand coming with Lamar Jackson in that offense. Do the Browns figure it out? I don't know. I mean, dude, the AFC, the more I talk about it, the more I think about it, I wonder, is there going to be a couple of 9-win teams that are all 3 wildcard teams going to be 9-win teams out of the AFC because the AFC is just going to beat itself up? Is whatever the AFC team is to go to the Super Bowl, are they going to be able to withstand the gauntlet of the AFC and the NFC, the weakest we've ever seen it, going to squeak out a win in the Super Bowl because of it?
I think there is something to be said for that. I mean, you got a lot of teams in the third place tier, in the AFC that are up and coming, that are ready to slide into the second and first place tier. You're going to have a lot of good games in the AFC, and you're going to probably have a lot of losses by teams you didn't expect to have losses by. Like a team losing that shouldn't lose a lot more often this season. So it is likely that maybe even there could even be a division winner that's 9-8.
Yeah,
I was thinking too. I was thinking that too.
Jose?
What's up, Jose? Definitely. I agree. I think there's going to be, in my opinion, I think there might even be turnover in the sense of teams that are leading this league are now taking a second, a seat back, or even a third seat back from those teams that are leading their divisions and whatnot.
I think you're likely to see that a lot on the NFC side too. I mean, teams like Minnesota, or it's like, come on, Kirk, what's taking so long? You know what I mean?
I know I know we're still salty about what happened to the Detroit Lions last season, but they are a team that you could definitely see winning their division now.
Right. Yep.
They have the offense.
Bow out. Yep.
They definitely address the defense. In fact, I'm going to go out and say, I think with the additions that they made, I think that offense is even better than it was last season.
I think the defense shows up is what's going to be the X factor for them.
That too. Getting a guy like Jack Campbell, you definitely better believe that, you know, their defense is going to be better, especially in the middle linebacker core. Altogether, I actually think that Detroit is going to be the big favorite to win that division now. Now that Aaron Rodgers is gone, I honestly think the Vikings might take a step back. Like you said, I think that could happen.
I think Dallas is going to take a step back.
I mean, there's Bears too. The Bears is there also.
No, I mean, I know they're not in that division, but I mean, just in general, I know that's another one. Arizona is not going to be competitive this year.
I don't expect them to. No, I don't know.
You got a lot of teams in the NFC that up at the top that are just like whatever, you know.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it
since Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I'm gonna say Dallas actually loses the NFC East and that Giants win that division. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna say Dallas either finishes second or third in that division. So that's just my opinion.
You got a possible you know, Super Bowl runner-up slump for any team, including the Eagles. They're not immune to those effects.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting what happens both on the AFC and NFC. I think the AFC is, in my opinion, we are the more dominant conference already. We have the best quarterbacks, we have the best receivers, best running backs, in my opinion. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. The NFC side, I don't know, man. I just think that whoever is on the AFC side of things are going to have a superiority over the NFC teams in the Super Bowl going forward.
An NFC team I'm interested to see what it looks like is Atlanta. They picked up a lot of young talent. They're having a change of the guard around there. They still got questions at quarterback, but I'm interested to see what Atlanta does. You know, but to go back to the AFC real quick, you know, a team people are forgetting about and not talking about, you know, the Broncos with Russell Wilson and now Sean Payton. Like, how does that experiment work out?
Good question. You asked that question a little earlier on before you came on.
Yeah, we talked about it.
In your opinion on that?
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm usually like, it's either going to do one or two things. It's going to be a perfect marriage, and we're all gonna be looking at them, you know, within reaching distance late in the year to win the division. We're gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what? That's right. That's Sean Payton. Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe Russell Wilson isn't washed. Oh yeah, their defense was really great last year, and now that their offense is pretty good and firing, they're a damn good football team. Or it is going to be an epic shit show that is going to be something for the ages. The storylines alone, I mean, the NFL every year for like the last 10 years has become more and more like the WWF, WWE, whatever the fuck they call it now. And I mean, bro, it is intense. Just the drama surrounding all the nonsense from the turnover that the league has. And it's becoming, you know, it's becoming its own weird sphere of crazy.
I agree. It's going to be really interesting what the Broncos do going forward. Specifically, I want to see what happens with their wide receiving core. You know, Judy, you know, they had some injuries, I believe, and some players out last season when it came to the receiving core. Jared Judy just was supposedly got a knock a couple days ago in the OTAs. So we'll see. You know, I heard he's okay, but, you know, we'll see what happens going forward. Jose says 49ers and Eagles are the two best teams on that side. You're absolutely right. In the NFC, those are the two teams, to be honest. I expect them to be the major players in the playoffs on their side every year for the next 2 or 3 years. Eagles specifically, I think, are the Super Bowl favorites. What they did in the draft the offseason. They had major turnover on their defense, and they made it look like it was nothing. The players they brought in, I honestly think their whole front four can have 10 sacks apiece this coming up season. It's very possible. Now, do understand, because they have an easier way to get to the Super Bowl. Not saying it's going to be easy, but if you
The
look,
NFC is easier. You're right. Ali.
it is easier. You're right. It is easier. Are they going to be battle tested enough to go up against AFC East teams? Not AFC East, but the AFC in general. That's my question.
Well, I'll go back to what I said earlier on the flip side of that coin. Is the AFC going to be able to be strong enough, whoever represents the AFC in the Super Bowl, after going through the gauntlet of the AFC? You know, all these teams, I mean, dude, the floor of the teams, no better example is Denver. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a team who didn't perform well. They lost a lot of football games. They were terrible last year. You could turn around and they might win the AFC West. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't, they could be the third best team in the AFC West with 10 wins. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's really hard,
You've
man.
also got you've also got teams like Jacksonville, you know, that are in that same boat as Denver.
Good point, Color. I forgot about them. You're absolutely right.
I think Jacksonville wins the division. Wins their division.
I think so too. I think they're the favorite as well, in my opinion.
But there again, even though they're you know, pulling back and all that, the Titans are still going to be a tough out. They always play tough, you know, even if they suck, you know.
I mean, as long as they got Derrick Henry, they always got
Indianapolis. I mean, you know,
that's an interesting point with Indianapolis, Color, because they drafted AR-15, and if that kid comes on and shows up like a Lamar Jackson did when he started playing, and obviously the comp, as you know, but the kid's a freak athlete. He has zero touch on the football, but he's got a cannon on him, and he's just a freaking monster with the ball in his hands running down the field. The Colts could win the AFC South if that guy shows up. It would really throw a wrench in the entire AFC seeding for sure if he shows up.
who am I missing in the South?
The Texans.
Texans, right?
Texans are done.
Yeah,
Texans are on a 10-year rebuild right now, bro.
Right. Perpetual rebuild.
You know, it's funny you brought up Anthony Richardson. You know, they're the big thing for him is like he has super amount of athleticism and he has a cannon of an arm and everything, but he doesn't have the accuracy or the touch that he needs, right? You know who they said the same exact thing about when he got drafted or when he was getting drafted?
Who?
Josh Allen. Josh Allen was one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks coming out of college at the time, but he had a super big arm and he had athleticism. The guy could run. He could do a lot of good things. You know what I mean? And look at Josh Allen now.
They said the same thing about Trey Lance, and he just never got it together.
I don't know. In my opinion, I think Anthony Richardson is a lot more talented than Trey Lance coming out of college.
I completely agree with you 1,000,000%. And I feel like Anthony Richardson, as far as college programs go, from Trey Lance, who went to North Dakota State, is definitely more battle tested.
Yeah, definitely more battle tested. That's absolutely correct. All right, guys. So we're down to final thoughts. We're on the 8 o'clock hour right now. We'll start with you, Mr. El Capitan. So did you enjoy the show? Did you have fun time on their first episode?
I did. I'm glad I made it on the wire to cut in. I wanted to make sure to be here for episode 1 at least. I really dig the early morning content. You know, I get up, getting ready, and I'm just listening to it in the background a little bit here and there. And I think it's a great way to start out the Finn's Tailgate.
Definitely. This show is going to be going Monday through Friday, like I said, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday, going forward. Even during the season, we'll be doing this. So rock and roll. And got any final thoughts for us? Anything else? Any shout out?
final thoughts is I have no final thoughts because I'm always continuing to think. So I will think about it later. Later, everybody.
Later. Thank you, El Cap. Thanks. All right. So color, we had El Capitan showing up. Great rock and roll. And as we move along with our show, we're going to start having more guests, more people. Might even have some special interviews lined up, which I will be talking to you privately soon about. So stay tuned for that, people, if you're watching. What are your final thoughts, man? Tell me, it was our episode 1. We can only continue to grow. What do you think?
We finally got it kicked off, man.
Finally got it going. Yes, definitely.
Yep,
So,
and I really enjoy doing it. You know, it's kind of prime for me in the morning to be able to come in and talk. It's perfect timing, and I look forward to it growing and exponentially getting better. Like we always, we expect out of everything else at the Fins Tailgate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we definitely we have,
and obviously, as there is more to talk about, the shows are going to be a lot easier to do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And but pretty soon we'll be filling 2 hours. You'll have it to be telling your boss you're coming in late. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie, these 2 hours actually went by pretty quick. I was very surprised. I looked up, I was like, we already almost 8 o'clock. Oh my god.
The only other thing I would say is Miramar over up at Marineland told me exclusively with a couple squeaks and clicks that they do need to bring back the old logo. We can't be having dolphins breaking their back on our helmet, and other than that, fins up.
That's right. Definitely. Fins up. Thanks, Color. I'm gonna put you in the back for momentarily. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us here at the Fins Tailgate. This is top of the tailgate for you, 6 a.m. To 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. Going forward, new morning show here at the Fins Tailgate. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out with us. Enjoyed the conversation. Enjoyed talking to the chat. Is this a panel show? I've gotten that asked that question. Not yet. We might do that, but then again, we have Cup of Coffee with Color that'll start going right afterward. It will be seamlessly right in from my show to that show. Maybe on his, he'll have that. This morning show is really just to start the rev up, get your cup of coffee going and get the engine rolling for the full day. But while you're hanging out with us, check out some of our other content. We have El Capitan, Color, myself, DTA, Lewis, Shake Money. If you'd like to donate, we really appreciate it. Check out the links below. We got Fanatics, Backroom Collection, Doobie Energy Drinks. Check them all out. Check out our affiliates. We really appreciate it. Use the links below. It helps out the channel. But make sure you hit like and subscribe, turn on notifications, tell everybody. We thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you for making this a great episode 1. Till then, fins up. I love you all. And to that, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah.